Kentucky Secretary of State says the sudden announcement of President Biden dropping out of this year's race changes very little in the ballot process for November. Michael Adams says the ballot process is still a few months away. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is live at the state capitol with more.
Well, President Biden did win those primary elections, the primary election back in May here in Kentucky. But the fact that his name will not be on the November ballot does not present problems in the whole election process. Speaking to county clerks, Secretary of State Michael Adams says that those ballots will not be drawn up until September. He was speaking to the county clerks at the Marriott Griffin Gate Hotel at their convention. Adams says ballots are never printed until after both party conventions are over. The Democratic convention is next month in Chicago. He says the ballots will not be printed until after the delegates make it official at that convention.
Well, there was a big change about 50 years ago. It used to be that primaries were discretionary. Only a few states had them, and only a small number of delegates were chosen in primaries. As recently as 1968, Hubert Humphrey was the Democratic nominee for president. He was the vice president at the time, didn't enter a single primary.
And Adams says with all the speculation that Andy Beshear may be chosen as the vice presidential candidate nominee, he says that if that were to happen and he were to run for vice president, the governor could still serve as Kentucky governor until through the election, depending on what would take place in November. He says Kentucky law would still allow that. Live at the state capitol in Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.